Well, it is Saturday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is 90 degrees outside and probably 75% humidity. It's very muggy, and I was sitting in my house, kind of done with work for the day. I was doing yard work, and I got a phone call from one of my viewers. He recognized the number on the side of my truck and figured that I was local to him because he knew the prefix and the area code. So he decided to give the company a call and then got my cell phone number. So I spent about 15 to 20 minutes with him on the phone. He sent me a couple pictures, tried to walk him through setting the pressure correctly in the bladder tank, which he had a 30-50 switch and he pumped it up to 35 psi, which was a no-no. So the first thing we did, we lowered the air pressure back down to 28 psi in the tank. Then he didn't have a digital voltmeter. He only had one that had a little light bulb on it. And through, minimal stuff like that, we were able to determine that only one side of the pressure switch would actually light up his voltmeter. So either he's got a faulty switch, could have possibly maybe a bad breaker, but I doubt it. Only about 5% of the time is a breaker ever bad. Or he's got a broken wire down in the well, and typically with a 230 volt system and you got a broken wire, you got two lines and each line feeds 120 volts. So what you would have is one line is not bringing power back up, and it's exhausting that voltage, that energy down in the water, and you're not going to get a correct reading. With a digital voltmeter, one side would read 120 volts and the other side would read like 45 volts, or it would read something weird like 79 volts or something like that. But it's not enough volts to keep the the motor spinning or whatnot. So we might find a bad switch, or we might find a faulty wire down in the well. But right now I am heading that direction, and it is Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't typically run after work like this. Typically things scheduled, but it's the weekend. I really didn't have much going on. I was kind of relaxing. It was just so hot to work out in this stuff, but I'm gonna go do it. We're gonna make some content, and we're gonna see what it is. All right, we are here. Take me to the tank.
That's where the well at, all the way up there.
Where's the tank at? Let's go to the tank first.
Okay. It's me. Come on.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
It's a clean environment.
Yeah.
So many of the ones I work on are just, it's off right now, huh?
Yeah, it's off.
All right, go ahead and turn it on.
All right.
Okay, so we've got our voltmeter. And we know that this gray wire here is a gray wire that comes straight from the panel box. So we want to pay attention. It's going to be this wire here, and it's going to be this wire here, and I should get 240 volts, which I do. Now if the switch is good, I can jump over to the other screws and I should get 240 volts, which I do. So that tells me that electricity is passing through this contact, and it's passing through this contact. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a check on each individual one. We're going to ground out this here, and notice the ground wires have been cut. I don't like that, but we're just going to ground it out on the switch, and we're going to test for 120 volts on each leg. Probably don't have a good ground. Let's see if I get 120 this time. No, I don't. I got a little bit more. See, I'm getting 70. I'm getting weird voltage when I go leg to leg. So that's almost definitive to a open wire down in the well. So I believe when we pull the well pump out, we're going to find a wire probably near the pump that has rubbed and exposed the copper. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go out to the well and we're going to test, make sure we get 240 volts at the wires, make sure that the wire in the ground going to the pump isn't bad. Once we figure out that we have 240 volts out at the wellhead, then we can do another test and we can see if we've got a broken leg coming back, and I'll show you that next.
This is typical distance to be that far away?
Every one is different. But ain't none of them lighter than the next. Holy shit.
What?
Look at that wire. Don't touch it. So that looks like a possible problem right there. Okay, so let's see. This is what they did here. They ran one solid line all the way down to the pump. And it looks like something crazy has went on here. Like somebody stripped it or something. I still got the current on. But unfortunately, there's no wire nuts for me to, you know, make a connection. So I can't really test this. And that right there is a little sketchy. Kind of makes me worried. Okay, regardless, we've got a buried well here, which you can kind of tell, you know, when it rains, this probably fills up with water, and maybe even pours into the well. Does it get dirty when it rains?
Here?
Yeah.
The water?
The water.
Yeah.
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 So that's probably it. Maybe in the future you could think about maybe taking the casing and raising it up to here, getting it above ground level, and you won't have that problem. The way they used to do that, that's how they kept them from freezing. They would keep them ground level, and that would prevent it from freezing.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
But that's just old technology.
Yeah, because the new ones now, you got them sitting out there with a rock on
That's
top
right.
of it.
All the new ones have the rock cover over it. Yep.
Okay, so.
Okay. God, I hate this. Yeah, and now I'm noticing this here. Almost, yeah, see, that's exposed copper right there. I can see it right there. So yeah, maybe an issue with that. But almost certainly, because they used gray UF down the hole, that gray UF is probably bad. We don't have much to work with here, but we can make it work as long as we get good continuity and good flow all the way out here. But I think the next thing we're gonna have to do is pull this pump out of the well. Alright, so we went ahead, we cut the power off. I double checked it at the switch. So what we gotta do, we're gonna cut the wire here. But we notice that it's pulled really tight right here. So my fear is that if I were to cut the wire, say here, it would suck down the well and it could trap the pump. So I have got to be really, really careful when I cut it that the wire doesn't try to pull into the well. I don't know if whoever put this in, you know, securely fastened the wire to the pipe or not. Same for the rope. We want to make sure the rope doesn't suck into the well either. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut the wire down here. I'm going to try to bend it into a weird loop. So just in case if it tried to suck it into the hole, the loop would be bigger than the little wire spot here to where it can't go down. So I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to try and get this system up. Dealing with a whole lot of black ants. Got them crawling all over me. Son of a bitch. So now the first thing I noticed with this system, I noticed how thin the black roll pipe is. So this is old 100 PSI pipe. The fear with 100 PSI pipe is this stuff will split due to the head pressure on the pump. All modern day pipe is 160 to 200, maybe 250 PSI. So this right here, hopefully the well pump isn't no deeper than 80 or 100 feet. But I would almost expect to find a split pipe on something like this because it's so thin and it's so old. And also we're gonna probably find a bad wire. Now there was a rub spot right here from when someone, and you can see another one right there, you can see the exposed copper. So the exposed copper on that was exposed on the white and on the black inside of the pump house here. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to take my torch, we're going to heat this up, we're going to pop this off, I'm going to take my hammer, go around the edge here, and we're going to jiggle and wiggle this well seal up. I always like to take the 90 off here, that way all I got to do is heat it up and pull up on it. Bing. Let's see.
You see it?
I'm trying to see if there was a suction happen.
No, I'm saying, yeah, you see the mud too, don't you?
Yeah, it's iron.
Oh, that's iron.
Most undoubtedly, this well seal is probably locked on pretty tight. I left my flathead on the job on Friday. That was a donation. I ain't driving back for it. Won't give you much to work with here. Try to pry that seal. It's got a lot of grit and grime plugging it up. Work around it with the hammer. It lifts right up like so. Now we're gonna pick it up, man. Pick it up, move it over. Now I would almost bet money that that was galvanized casing because all the mud on it. That's PVC. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Hey yo, I thought it was too.
You thought it was metal too?
Yeah.
All right. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the wheels on it, and I'm gonna pull this joker out. Yeah, I would have bet money that was galvanized. With how old the house is.
See, they redone everything though.
Yeah, it's not bad. See, look, that pipe and that wire and that rope, nothing's taped.
Got water?
That's a good sign.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah. Take the tree stump, put it on the hose?
No, you good, you good. Ooh, boy. Look at all that nice build up there. Look at all that shit plugged on. That'll tell you the code date right there. 1978, buddy. Yeah, 1978. You can't ask for nothing more than that. I haven't seen a 78 model well pump in a long time. $1978. That's crazy. 78 model. Look at the intake of the pump. The intake of the pump is absolutely filled and caked. But okay, well at least we know. Look at all that. At least we know it needs a new pump. Probably best to put new pipe and new wire on it. But I want to go ahead and I want to walk down this system and see if I can find an exposed wire. Because that's really what I believe that it was. I believe that the wire is rubbed into somewhere. Now we did find that rubbed into wire at the top of the well. Ow, damn it, I got bit by an ant. Okay, bit by an ant. Ow, now it's throbbing. All right, so let's see if we can actually find. If you notice this old 2-wire pump, how it really only has 2 wires, they didn't have ground wires on older pumps. The pump being metal and put in the ground, it was its own ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and look to see if I can find a bad wire.
Let me finish. Look at this.
Yeah, you see the intake of that pump? See how bad it is? I got bit by a fire ant. Now my hand's on fire. Ow. Right in the middle. Right in that meat. Stings. Alright. All this stuff is 50 years old. It's all getting replaced.
Alright, but look.
Alright, so I have measured from the well seal all the way to the well pump, and it is a total of 56 foot. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna trash all that, and the only thing we're gonna use is the old well seal. and I'll show you what we're gonna put in. We're gonna put in this Grumpus. We're gonna put in an SQ200, and we're gonna put brand new wire in it. I got a brand new roll of pipe up there, so I'm gonna go ahead now. I'm gonna start prepping the pump and get this thing all put together. If you want a follow along guide on how to put a pump together, I already have those videos on my channel. Alright, so I got the Grumpus SQ200 down here. I went ahead and just used a regular old ABS male adapter since it's only going in at 55, 56 foot. I've got my wire and I've got my pipe rolled out. I'm not filming the process because right now I got a big storm coming, so I'm trying to hurry up to get this system running before I get pelted with this weather. Alright, so I got the pump pretty much finished. I'm going to go out to the well now, and we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of pool shocket in it, sanitize it. That cloud's just getting closer and closer. It's official. The storm has arrived. And I am in the middle trying to put the well pump in before this downpour happens. That's what I get for working 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon by myself. Here we go. Right. Okie dokie. Tell you what though, it went from being 90 degrees out here to being like 70 degrees out here. I have to say that's a beautiful part about this. Alright. I'm gonna try to bend some of the curve out of the pipe. Gotta take that natural coil out. Okie dokie. Now I'm just gonna go get my hammer and knock that well seal in, make this connection here, and then I've already pre-stripped my wires down there, so I gotta make a connection down there as well. There we go. There we are. There we go, baby. Good deal. Woo! It is ripping. We need this pipe in the middle to flex. Bent the wrong way. Cool. I've got to tighten these clamps here. And then I got to hook up my wires. I'm using the old elbows that was on the other system because everything essentially would line up. Trying to be as cost effective as I can for the customer. What's up, boss?
What's up, man?
It's back in. I'm about ready to hook the wires up, and then we can energize it and turn it on. Okie doke. The well pump and the wellhead, it's all put back together. Before I put the concrete cover on, I'm going to run in the basement, energize the system, make sure that they've got water, and then we'll come back out here and make sure I don't have no leaks. There we go. We see a little bit of action, baby.
Oh, Lord have mercy, it's going too.
Yeah, it's going. If it won't go, then we'd have real big problems. There comes the water. That means I did something right. Whew, Lord. It's crazy. It's been probably 2 hours since I got his phone call. I got here in like 20 minutes after the phone call, had the well pump out and replaced in about 90 minutes. Yeah, buddy, I think you messed with, well, no, it triggered it. It tripped the switch. You said you had messed with it. Yeah, see, it's only pumping it up to 40, so what we need to do, I need to crank down on that thing. Did you, what'd you use to crank down on it with? I need to reset the pressure switch back to the original setting. Alright, so we've got water running in the bathroom sink right now, and because this is a 30-50 switch, and he had adjusted with the spring, I need to go ahead and tighten it back down to get it back to where it builds 50 psi again. It kicked off at 40, so that means he had adjusted it. He might have adjusted the small screw too, I don't know. But we want to make sure everything operates correctly. If need be, I'm going to end up putting a new switch on this thing if I can't get it to turn on at 30 and off at 50. We're going to let it flush the system for a little bit. Because I bet we're going to get some discoloration in this filter. Because typically when you change a well pump out, leave your old filter in it because it's going to get nothing but nasty. First thing we're going to do, we'll mess with the switch until we get it set correctly. And then we'll mess with the filter and get that to quit leaking. Okay, so we just kicked on at 30. And I want to make sure it pumps up and kicks off at 50. Perfect. That's right where we want it. Alright, you can go ahead and cut the sink off. Alright, so the next thing we're going to address is this leaky little filter here. Alright, so we went ahead and we took the canister off the end of the filter here. And a lot of reasons why these things leak is when people take them out, you get that sediment, that grit. You get it in the threads and you get it on the O-ring. So it's always a good idea to pull the O-ring out and rinse all of the sediment, all the trash out of the groove where the O-ring sits. That way you can tighten it again and hopefully it won't leak. A lot of times when you buy filters, they come with extra O-rings too, but it has to seat around the base of this right here, so you don't want any grit in these grooves. A lot of people put Vaseline or silicone grease in these spots here, and that's okay, but you got to make sure that the grit doesn't get in there in that Vaseline. If it does, you need to take like a Q-tip and wipe it all out. Get you a folded paper towel or something, get all that grit out of these grooves. We're going to go ahead now and we're going to clean that O-ring. Alright, so if I can zoom out, if you can look at this, you can see it's got Vaseline on it, and I can feel it in my fingers. There's grit all over it. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe that clean and flip it over and wipe the canister out. Try to get this thing to seal. Alright, so if we take a look at it, I got all of the grit out of the groove, so it's nice and pretty and clean again. I'm going to go ahead now, we're going to take the O-ring, I'm going to drop it back in the groove, make sure it goes all the way in the bottom. Sometimes what you'll notice is the O-ring has gotten too fat and gotten too large. That's when you have to go get a new one. But I think we may be okay here. Go ahead and take the element, make sure we line up the hole in the bottom of the element with the nipple on the bottom of the can, and we're going to go ahead and thread it on. Now that we've got it on, we can go ahead and turn it back on. Go ahead and take the rag. I'm going to wipe all this stuff off. I believe there was water up here because maybe the air valve was leaking. Sometimes a little air valve can leak. It'll get trash in it. Okay. Now, to get the air out of that, we're going to go in here, we're going to open the sink again. Yeah, look at all the trash that was in the bottom of the filter housing. I tightened the canister by hand. I did not use the wrench. Typically only like to tighten it by hand. Use the wrench to take it off. Okay, I think we're good. I think we are good to go. Go ahead and take the cover and put that on. And last but not least, the only thing we got to do now is go make sure we don't have any leaks at the wellhead and make out a bill. and cover the well up. I know I haven't filmed that much, but I have been straight hustling on this job. Even the guy was like, man, you do this real fast. Not normally this fast, but when you're pushed by the weather and you got things to do, you gotta hustle. All right, now the number one most important thing about a job, make sure it's as clean or cleaner than it was before you arrived. Always pick up your trash. That was one big thing that my father instilled in me when doing stuff like this. Always, always, always make sure you pick up after yourself. Last thing I gotta grab is that 50-year-old pump there, but got this system all hooked up, no leaks, ready to go. Now all we gotta do is flop the concrete lid on it and get myself out of here. And that's done. Under 2 hours. All right, so around 2:35 in the afternoon, this gentleman was watching my video. At 2:45 to 2:50 is when I got my first phone call or text message from him. I arrived here at his house. It was 3:25, and it is right now 5:15. So between all that amount of time, I was able to get a phone call, walk him through testing the pressure switch, determine that the issue was down the hole. Then I got here, which is about a 17-mile ride from my house. Got the well pump out, got it replaced, was able to beat the storm, and got them water running again. So, needless to say, it was a success. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I'm gonna try to get home, edit it, and post it same day, which will be Saturday night when this comes out. But for 99% of my viewers out there, I don't live local to you, so the likelihood of me coming out and working on your job is slim to none. The way the gentleman figured it out was the fact that the prefix and the area code on my phone numbers on my truck were the same as his, so he knew we were in the same town. So if y'all enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.